Hey, good evening, good Wednesday evening. Okay, so here's the thing. I tried to stay away from the whole passport boys thing, but the more content I came across, the more inclined I felt to respond. Yeah, so let me just say this before I get started. The name that they chose is so fitting. Passport boys, the operative word there being boys. There's a reason they didn't call themselves passport men because they don't act like men, they act like boys. So let me give you a little background on these guys. So, in their attempt to disenfranchise black women, and their attempt to hurt black women, they make this huge announcement that they have opted to leave the United States and seek their male dominance, you know, in third world countries for women who pretty much, as long as you have a pulse, okay, they'll get with you. Okay, I'm going to show you a video also that I have from their site, okay, from their TikTok page, okay. I didn't make these up. This is what they did, okay. And when you look at this video, you tell me what comes to mind. It doesn't look like they're looking for love. It looks like they're looking for call girls in other countries, right? Because black women done said, listen, you got to come to the table with more than just some D, okay? You got to come to the table with more than just some D, because the D don't pay the bills, okay? D doesn't fix the credit, all right? D doesn't build retirements. No. So you got to come to the table with a little more than that. And so it is very, very laughable too, because um I look at these boys, as they call themselves, as whiny little brats, right? So enough delay, enough talking. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video, and you tell me what you think based off of this video, okay?
Yes, princess.
Come play with me.
Have you been a good girl today?
Yes, Daddy.
Are you telling the truth?
No, Dad.
Yeah. So, what do you want to come home to at night? Them passport boys, right? Doesn't look like they're looking for love to me, y'all. Looks like they want to date foreign so they can get some foreign, you know, you know. I ain't gonna say it because I'm not trying to get in trouble with TikTok, but yeah, I mean these look like very young. Hey, right there, 19-year-old virgin. Again, that's what they put on there. I didn't put that there. Right? Here's a streetwalker. Not only she's literally walking in a dirt road. So you mean to tell me, men, excuse me, boys, let's make sure I get this right. You would much rather give up the beauty of a black woman to go to a third world country overseas, all right, for what looks like to me, okay, sex. Right? It doesn't look like you're looking for love, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. But here's the thing. I invite any of the passport boys to a one-on-one. Okay, we can do it on Zoom. We can do it here on TikTok. We can have an audience. We can allow call-ins, and rather than stitching and going back and forth, okay, we can just clear the air. We can do a live. I invite you. Don't be coward about it. Let's not hide behind your TikTok page and post. Let's have a man to man conversation, and we'll leave it at that. And then after that, you guys can take your shrine to Kevin Samuels, your Kevin Samuels shrine, and the rest of your passport boys, and you guys can get on a plane and go and never come back. How about that? All right. So again, reach out to me. Let me know if what dates work for you. And again, we'll set this up. We'll have a one-on-one, and man to man, just a discussion. All right, I think that would be great. And also, like I said, it gives you the opportunity to kind of, clear the air, I guess, or kind of give your, live perspective on why you should be gone. All right, so leave me a message. Also, folks, let me know. Leave the comments. Let me know what you think about these passport boys. And are you glad to see them go when they finally decide to go and stop doing all this talking? All right. Whew, man. I honestly wish they would go ahead and go. Look forward to hearing or reading the comments. Y'all be good.
All right. All right. Before we get started, you're pandering. Okay. You're pandering to, a group of people that are gullible. All right. This is misinformation. I'll take a page out of the Democratic and, connected black misandrist, policy and shit regarding our community and shit. And I'll say this is misinformation and whatnot. And I laugh. I laugh my fucking ass off, you know. I listened to the whole thing putting in context of shit, you know. And I want to correct you, okay? It's not passport boys, okay? It's passport bros, okay? Big difference, all right? The boys thing comes from racist white men that, are covertly trying to stick it to us and shit after they've been doing it for decades because they were tired of their own fucking women. And they started going over to these foreign countries, getting these Asian women and shit, and yada, yada, yada and shit. Okay? We're simply exercising our human rights, the right of freedom, okay? Freedom of movement, all right? And you know this, okay? I looked at his fucking profile and it says he's a voice actor and a professor at a HBCU. I don't know which one. I really don't. I would plaster that shit all over this video because I think he needs to be checked and shit. A couple of months ago, there was a non-foundational black person doing this almost the same shit, and they checked his ass. They called his place of employment and carpet bombed the shit out of it. It's fair play and shit. Black women make it a point of standard operating procedure for misandrous, and I'm talking about misandrous black women that hate us because we have a penis and shit because of the color of our skin, our melanin content, a high melanin content. They make it a practice to target channels and groups they don't like and shit, and flag them and shit, and run them off the shit. And, that technique was employed a couple of months ago to somebody much like this gentleman here and shit. And I think he should be the recipient of that because he's an educator and because he knows better and shit. Okay, so he got a little radio show, a little podcast going there. He's a voice actor and shit. And yeah, he's at a HBCU, so he's around people, impressionable people. He's molding the minds of tomorrow, if you could even call it that, at the end of 2022. Right? So you're pandering, okay? You're pandering. I don't know or care if you believe that shit or not, but when you're talking about black men and what they do and shit, you're talking about yourself too and shit. Okay, you want to be a child, you want to infantilize yourself and shit. You go right ahead. You leave me out of the equation, and you leave my brothers out of the equation and shit. Men have the right to travel. I've already talked about in a couple of videos how I've been seeing women doing this same shit since the 70s. Okay, since the 70s, and I'm a Generation Xer. I have been seeing women flipping a bird to men since the 70s, and you don't got no smoke for them because you don't want your views to drop. Okay, you don't want your fucking views to drop, man. You're just out here with your hat in your hand, metaphorically speaking, pandering and shit because you're a bitch ass nigga, and you're a beta male, a male. You're not a man. You're a male. That's MALE. Just keep that clear. See, I had a little education myself. You're a beta male. That phrase, that coin was turned by one Cynthia G and shit. Insult black men and shit to the core of their fucking being. But I find it appropriate when applied to yourself, to you. All right. I don't know if I got the right diction there. Don't think I really care and shit. Yeah, I was irritated when I saw you, but then I laughed and shit because of your pandering and your bullshit and your trying to stick it to us, acting your feminized behavior by calling us passport boys and shit. Okay, you're the kind of Negro that women should be running away from screaming and shit. To be quite honest and shit, you call yourself a champion of black women and shit, but you're the kind of Negro that women should be running away from, especially young, impressionable women in the HBCU and shit. It's always guys like you are trying to do something strange, to these students, selling grades for favors and shit like that, just allegedly. I'm not accusing you of anything, but I'm saying you fit in a certain category, and you should be in a box You know, with this overemphasis on black women and shit, but not black people and black men and their freedom of movement, their simple human right to do as they please and shit. Okay, all right. We didn't ask for no fucking overseer. We born with two fucking parents and shit, and that's enough. Okay, we don't need anybody else. Your job is to educate people and shit. Okay, it's not to spread your vitriol all over the place and shit, but it's your American right, your freedom of speech. Like when I call you a beta male, okay, I'm gonna call you a bitch, okay. When I tell you, like, as far as I'm concerned, metaphorically speaking, you're an on-site nigga, okay, if you know what that means. All right, passport bros. Okay, passport bros. I don't give a shit about all these acronyms and code names and shit. I champion the freedom of movement and speech and shit. The freedom to live as you please and shit without affecting or fucking with other people and shit. There's some things I co-sign, some I don't. Okay, and I admit that a third of black men will be capable of actually leaving and traveling overseas, and I advocate for the ones that remain here to judiciously and righteously take back their community and shit by shunning the dissidents in it. And that includes yourself, sir. Okay? That includes yourself. All right? How many of your students have you banged? Huh? How many students? How many students you gave some pro-black rhetoric or something? Okay? And I see that American flag back there. Do you even know what that really stands for and shit? Or do you know that a black woman actually made that flag instead of George Washington's goddamn wife? Huh? Did you know that? Maybe you do. I don't give a fuck. All right? But to me, when I look at the fucking flag, and I serve my country, bitch, when I look at that fucking flag, man, I see the red is the red's the blood of the slaves. And it's pretty obvious what the white is. It's the minority majority that runs every goddamn thing across the diaspora. And blue is the Dred Scott. And it takes two black men to equal one white man. And that whole 13%, that 40 acres and a mule we never got. That Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the other black towns they burned and bombed to oblivion to make us codependent on a system that is a parasitic to us as a whole and has brought us to the brink of shit. You know, self-perpetuating system these days. Black people are so eager to run to their own extinction and shit with agents like yourself sitting right up front and shit, okay? You're a fucking loser and a bootleg, okay? And you disgust me. You're a beta male simp, all right? You're a cuckold and shit for someone that don't give a fuck about you. A black chick would rather scrap her girl than allow you to get into a busted, used up pea sleeve and shit that's been poisoned by generations of feminism that they've taken, into the third wave and turned it into a mindset of hatred and shit. They're a fucking hate group, all right? And the whole thing with the whole black woman shit that you know about, you refuse to acknowledge is that what they're saying to black men and shit in general is do as I say, not as I do. And fuck you.